Hello to everyone watching this video. Today's presentation will be on the Zacks Advisor Tools News and Events tab. During this video, we will be covering the background, functionality, and lastly, we will go over some of the key takeaways. So we will be covering 4 topics today: event calendar, economic calendar, news, and surprise activity, and a bit of background on each. So let's start with the event calendar. Basically, the event calendar covers earnings reports of companies. Economic calendar covers economic events such as federal funds rate, crude inventories, retail sales, unemployment rates, and much more. News, it will cover top news about stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds. And surprise activity basically provides a guidance table with earnings related financial metrics of companies that report their earnings. And in terms of functionality, we will be going over how to navigate within the event and economic calendar by choosing different search options, displaying ticker lists, and integrating with your personal calendars using iCalendar file integration. For the news section, we will cover how to search, select different news providers, and how to sort. And lastly, for surprise activity, we will go over different metrics that are shown in each table, as well as how to adjust the calendar for a specific date. Okay, now let's get into the actual advisor tools and go over each one of these topics. So the news and events tab is located right here in the upper right hand corner. And since we have event calendar first on the list, let's start here. So once again, the event calendar shows earnings reports for companies. And we can start by going over where this actual ticker list is coming from. So right here in the upper left hand corner where it says display tickers from, you can hit the drop down and select either one of your watch lists that you created in Quote Monitor, or you have the ability to select all of your watch lists that are created in Quote Monitor as well. Besides selecting through Quote Monitor different watch lists, what you can do is you can adjust this ticker list tab to be just all companies, and this will include basically a universe of all companies that Zacks covers. So when I do all companies and I hit go, as you can see, this is the full universe of companies that are reporting their earnings in the month of June. And then also one has the ability to just search by an individual ticker by putting a ticker into this search box. So besides loading in ticker lists, one has the ability to also adjust the date. Right here, you can select from month to week to day. One has the ability to also adjust the month and the year here as well. Also, for those who do not like this calendar view, we also have the ability to have this view as a list view. So let's maybe go into the month of July here for all companies, and right here earnings reports we have and list view, and hit go. So this is basically, as you can see, we switched off from the calendar view to a list view, and these are all the companies that are reporting their earnings in the month of July. And all the companies that have firmed up their earnings date, you're able to actually select them, and you can actually integrate these events into your personal Outlook calendar by hitting Create iCalendar File and downloading this file. Okay, so next on the list we have the economic calendar. So as you guys can see, the layout here is almost completely identical. However, one main difference is instead of having earnings reports selected, we have economic events selected. The functionality here is also more or less completely identical. One has the ability to adjust the date here. We can put it to July again, as we did previously. And also one has the ability to select list view as well over here. We click go. So the view changes. And lastly, if you guys want to integrate these events with your personal Outlook calendar, It's the same process, just select which event you want to integrate with your calendar and hit create iCalendar file and then just download the file. Okay, now that we're done with both the event and economic calendars, next on the list we have news. So news is pretty self-explanatory. Right here in the upper left-hand corner, one has the ability to load their ticker list from Quote Monitor, and also they have the ability to select different news providers, different specific news providers. Also, one has the ability to sort by time, symbol, and wire. And lastly, for those wondering, how can they search for news on a specific ticker? Well, you will have to go through the search bar, for instance, IBM, and then simply hit news right here. Okay, last topic on our list that's still left to cover is surprises activity. So once again, surprise activity is basically a guidance table with earnings related financial metrics. By default, this date will always be set to the current date. However, users can hit this calendar and adjust date going backwards. Basically, this table represents all the companies that reported their earnings today. All of these columns are sortable. One can sort by time, by ticker, company, and so on. And basically, all of these columns going across are different earnings related financial metrics that we collect about these companies. Besides having EPS metrics, users can also access different sales metrics, consolidated, and non financial metrics as well. And lastly, users do have the ability to export all of this data into Excel. Okay, now that we went over the four topics in Zacks Advisor Tools, and you guys should have a pretty good understanding of what each tab under the News and Events tab represents, let's go over some of the key takeaways. First of all, by utilizing the News and Events tab, users can stay on top of earnings reports, economic events, and top news. Also, users have the ability to integrate economic and earnings event calendars with their Outlook calendar. And lastly, users have quick access to earnings related metrics to help them trade and invest smarter. Thank you all for attending, and any questions or requests, please reach out to us at the below email and or number. Thank you.